A narcissist's decisions, emotions, and feelings are not your responsibility. I'm being verbally abusive to you because you set the tone when you hired an attorney. So it's actually your fault that I'm being abusive. I had an affair because you wouldn't get a Brazilian wax when I told you how much it meant to me. It showed me how much you didn't care about me. You made me have an affair. I had to close the bank accounts because you bought a new washing machine when the old one broke without even asking me. Did you ever have it where the person in your life was blaming you for everything? Or blaming you for the things they did? Because oftentimes you'll have a narcissist that ends up blaming you for the own actions that they have, for the own actions that they do. I gave the illustration even of like cheating because that's a popular one. You made me cheat. You made me do this. If you had been better in bed, then we could have been together more. If you would have loved me how I wanted you to, then I wouldn't have cheated. If you would have given me time to do whatever, then I would have like spent more time with you. Like, it doesn't matter. They'll flip it around and they'll show like, hey, it's your fault. Because the narcissist doesn't want to take accountability, responsibility, or ownership of anything that they've done or anything that they're doing. So they'd rather take that blame and put it on you and say, hey, this is the actions that I'm doing. I don't really care that they hurt you, but I don't want to take accountability that they do hurt you. So therefore, I'm going to tell you that it's your fault that I'm doing actions that hurt you. Narcissists want to blame you time and time and time again. And if you're new here, I'm Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this platform to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. Do that each day by dropping nuggets of truth on all the different platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you don't follow us on any of those, then just type in Raw Motivations and go follow us on other platforms. Help be a part of a community. Download the NARC app, NARC, from Apple or Google Play. Be able to join with people there to help grow, heal, and change by having courses, by tracking your no contact, recording your truth, joining weekly lives, monthly Zoom calls. All this different type of stuff is packed in there and more to come. Because we're trying to educate people about what narcissism is, because a lot of people don't know. I talk with people every single day. I do one-on-ones with people all across the globe. I get the privilege of talking to people everywhere. And sometimes I talk to people that are psychologists or therapists or counselors or people that are in clinicals, like studying for it. And they've talked to me because they've been abused by a narcissist. And one of the common things that they always say is, I've learned about this. I've read the books, I've read the DSM-5, I understand what narcissism is, but it doesn't look like this in real life. And so when we talk, my goal is to help provide them clarity, help walk them through the cognitive dissonance, the hope, the potential, the trauma bond that has them tied down and stuck. Because you have a narcissist that comes into your life and gets to the place where you start taking on their blame. You start taking on the things that they're putting on you. Has that happened to you? Is that something you resonate with? If so, please leave a comment down below to let people know, hey, this is me. Because a lot of people out there think that they're isolated and alone. And that's because the narcissist has put you in the middle of a field, surrounded you with fog, and said, hey, you're isolated and alone. But you need to understand, one, you're not crazy, and two, you're not alone. Just in the NARC app community, the app that we built just recently, the NARC app has over 4,400 people. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that are trying to grow, heal, and change on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people that are watching this right now that resonate with the idea of, wait a second, I got blamed all the time. Narcissists will blame you for their actions. That could be that cheating relationship, that could be that rage, that could be the abusive nature, that could be them kicking the dog, that could be them losing their job. Like, it doesn't matter. They'll find a way to twist it around and blame you. You see this with overt narcissists, you see this with covert narcissists, but you see this a lot of times in a manipulative way of, how can I put the blame on you so that I don't have to feel it, so I don't have to engage with it, and so I don't have to own it. When you have a narcissism kind of go through different sections that I've talked about, and whenever I meet with people, I go through this cycle in particular of where they feel guilt, and they latch onto shame, and they have to run away from that as fast as possible. The easiest way is to blame someone else. It's not my fault, it's yours. It's to put it back on someone else. And what they do is they project things onto you. If you watched the video earlier today that we released about the false apology, about how they try to give you that false apology, it's the same idea of they want to project things onto you. They want to project their anger, their frustration, oftentimes giving you things that you're like, wait a second, it sounds like you're actually like confessing if I flip around the pronouns of like, wait, this person did this, not me. They want to give that to you, and as a result, they want to blame you for their actions. The problem is over time you start to accept the blame. You start to internalize it and be like, maybe it is my fault. Maybe I could have been more engaged. Maybe I could have been more loving. Maybe I could have been better in bed. Maybe I could have been, whatever it might be that they'll say, you'll start to doubt that. One of the first things I tell people to help break the trauma bond and start working through it is ground yourself in truth. And that's what I work to give people clarity when I talk to them of like, I want to ground you in truth of what actually happened in the relationship, because so often people get it twisted in their mind and they start to blame themselves for something that someone else did. The narcissist will give you the blame for their own actions and then expect you to deal with it. Ground yourself in truth. Have yourself understand, hey, this is what actually happened, and what they did was their own decision, was their own choice. Sometimes I have to tell people like, hey, you did not force that person to go out and cheat. You did not force that person to rage out at you. You didn't force that person to punch the wall. Like, you did not make this person do this. Because so often the narcissist is trying to tell you and make you feel like it's yours, and you need to understand to not accept that. You don't have to accept what they're giving you. You don't have to accept that blame. You can stand back and be like, wait a second, that's not on me because I did not make that decision to do that. You did. I mentioned earlier today, I mentioned it really quick. A lot of times the narcissist will say like, hey, it's your fault. It's your fault. You're the one that caused this. You're the one that did this. And then they'll switch it around sometimes when that's not working. They say, no, it's actually like our fault. We're both toxic. We both have communication issues. The only thing that they change between saying it's your fault to our fault is they drop the Y, but they're still giving you the same exact information. They're still giving you the same exact box of guilt, of shame that they want to blame on someone else, and they don't want to have that accountability and ownership of who they actually are. Oftentimes, the narcissist will gaslight, distract, and wear you down. They'll gaslight you into thinking, hey, this actually didn't happen the way that you think it happened. This is actually the correct way, and it goes back to you. Like, you don't remember that you were abusive to me. You don't remember that you're the one that said you wanted to cheat on me. You don't remember that you're the one that did this, and as a result, I did this. That's not a healthy relationship. And if you have someone who's toting that line, who's blaming you, who's saying like, hey, like, because you kissed someone 2 years ago before we were together, that's the reason why I cheated, that's not a valid excuse. Okay? And that happens. Like, that's a real example. That's not me just making it up. That's a real example of what's happened to different people, of using anything they can to justify and blame the other person. They'll use it to distract you. Sometimes they will purposely give you blame that they know is not even remotely close to yours, so you spend so much time trying to get rid of it, trying to say like, no, that's not me. Let me prove it to you. Let me show you. All this kind of stuff so that they don't have to be accountable for what just happened. Let's say, for instance, easy example is the narcissist cheats on you, and then they accuse you of cheating with so-and-so. And you spend so much time proving and showing like, hey, this didn't happen. This didn't happen. We didn't do this or whatever. You spend so much time trying to defend yourself that then there's less time to actually say like, but wait a second, why am I defending myself? You're the one that cheated on me. But a narcissist will blame very effectively so that you get distracted. And then ultimately they'll blame you so much that they wear you down. Here's a couple statements that this book says I've heard targets say that they've heard for the covert narcissists. I've heard a lot of these as well. It's your fault that the kids don't like me. It's your fault I was never happy. It's your fault my family doesn't like me. It's your fault I'm unhappy every Christmas. If you would enjoy the process of decorating the tree instead of rushing through it, I would enjoy Christmas more. It's your fault our son didn't get into Northwestern. It's your fault I was emotionally shut down. It's your fault our daughter never played softball. It's your fault I watch porn. It's your fault that I'm irritable. It's your fault I don't have any friends. It's your fault that we're in debt. It's your fault that I'm depressed and angry. It's your fault that I abuse you. You blame me for everything because you won't take personal responsibility. All those are phrases that you might resonate here. If you do, maybe drop a couple in the comments, because people need to understand that this happens a lot more than what they realize. More people need to understand that they've been getting blamed in a relationship for stuff that's not not their fault. More people need to understand out there. Maybe you know friends of yours that you've seen it, that you've watched, and you're like, wait a second, like they didn't do that, but they're getting blamed for it. Share this with them. Help them understand, like, it's not their fault. You'll have a narcissist that blames them for stuff that's not their fault. You have to remember that a narcissist's decisions, emotions, and feelings are not your responsibility. A narcissist decisions, emotions, and feelings are not your responsibility. Now I want you to take back your power, grow, heal, and change, get grounded in the truth, get help, get a therapist, get a coach, help walk you through the trauma bond, the cognitive dissonance, to get clarity, to get happy, healthy, and whole.